It's what I'm affectionately calling Make It Many May, because I just love the alliteration, don't you? And so I'm going to clear my table here because there is indeed a mini album I would love for us to work on together. And here's the thing about mini albums. So you know how you ebb and flow? You ebb and flow in the things you make. You know, sometimes maybe you're making cards. If you're a scrapbooker, maybe you are making some traditional scrapbook pages. Sometimes maybe you are making 6x8 or mini albums. Now there's a category, mini albums. Who'd have thought? Okay, yeah, seriously. That's what we are going to work on today, is mini album. Now the thing about this mini album is that I am grabbing from an older mini album that I made, and I'm totally reconstructing it. And what I mean by that is I'm taking the ideas that I utilized in that mini album, and I'm kind of making it bigger. So this is the ebb and flow part. For this mini album, I have all the sizes, don't you? I have the 4x4s, I have the 4x3s, I have the 4x6s, I have the, let's think, 5x7s, 6x8. Can we talk about the 6x8 for a second? Because that's what we made in the Something New class. We are all here for the 6x8. Today I'm going to do a 5x7. So that's one of the ways I am changing up this particular mini album from what I made before. The other thing I wanted to talk about, so I really intended for this video to get out much sooner. I've been sick all week. I'm still recovering. I'm going to take a nap when this is done. But here's the thing, it's almost Mother's Day, and I really wanted to have a gift idea on the channel by Thursday. Well, it's Thursday right now, and this will not go up until Friday. True confession, it's just life. You know, what do they say? Life is a series of obstacles preventing us from crafting. Boy, is that the truth this week as I wipe my nose even right now. Aren't you glad for all the TMI? Anywho, the truth of the matter is that I am going to be making myself a Mother's Day gift because I don't have a Mother's Day gift to make this year. My mother died in September, you may or may not know, after a 3-year battle, 3.5-year battle with leukemia. And so this is my first Mother's Day without her. And I don't know, it's just a really interesting time. And there's some other things going on right now behind the scenes in the family life, you know, because there's always stuff going on in family dynamics. If you have any size of family, there's always something going on. So I decided, you know what, Jim? Let's celebrate your mom by celebrating you as a mom. And let's do that in one of your favoriteest ways, making a mini album. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, enough chat, enough chit chat. Let's get down to it. Okay, so you see I have pulled out the Hidden Creek by Arden Creative Studio. Finally, ScrapbookCom has it in stock. Yay! Let's celebrate. Ooh, we are celebrating. This is one of the ways we're celebrating. We're making with it. And I've got a lot of makes with it already. I've been posting those, and there's so much more to make because I just want to keep making with this. Anyway, I keep talking, and I really want to share with you. I'm going to show you today this mini album, and the collection is going to be Hidden Creek. And so to start, we're going to make a cover. So this is going to be a 5x7. Fairly simple mini album. It's not too complicated. I mean, I think you can bang it out as quickly as I show you how to bang it out. And then the adding part might take a little bit longer. I think we might embellish a page or so. But I want to show you the structure of this mini album because it's got a lot of pockets. It's got a lot of things and some ideas to tuck into it. So it's we got 3 parts here. The first part is structuring the album itself. So part 1 here, we're going to need about 3 papers for the actual construction. Now we won't be using all the 12x12, but you will need at least a 12x12 if you make it in the fashion that I'm going to make it, because it needs some length to work with. So I have here this pattern paper on my trimmer at 7 inches because my book is going to be 7 inches tall. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this all the way across. And then what I'm going to need is 11 1/4. Now, I will tell you, as I look at the cover of my book, this is going to be the front of my book. okay? About 4 inches is going to be exposed of this, okay? And I think that's about 4 inches there. The idea here for me was to include that butterfly, and it's mostly going to be included. So I think it's going to be a really pretty cover. Your cover can be anything. Heck, you can mix media your cover and just make that as customizable as you want. So this is my cover. I don't want to cut on this end, so I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to trim this to 11 1/4. Okay, so that's what I'm going to. It's 11 there, 11 1/4. Ta-da! Okay, and I got a little snippet piece here for whatever you need that to be. Okay, still working with this cover here. I'm grabbing my bone folder, and I need to make some scores. So, looking inside of the inside cover of my book, I'm going to line up this left side to 4 inches. So the idea is here on this, when it's closed, so I'm opening this up like a book. What? We just opened it like a book. You want to see that again? What? There you go. So this is my cover, and I need 4 inches here. So that's why I am scoring the 4 inches on this side. So this is 4. All right. And I'm going to move this 1/4. So I'm just moving this over. I like to use my trimmer because it's just one thing here on my workspace. On my very small workspace. I know I moved it to this new craft room, and I'm still struggling for surface space, gotta tell you, but one of these days. So now I've moved it over to 1/4, and I'm just gonna use my bone folder and give my 1/4. So the reason for this 1/4 is I'm just creating a little bit of some extra room inside the book. Because why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because we like clusters. And we want some room for some clusters in case that's exactly what goes in there. Plus we have another little part 2 that goes in here as well. At this point, we're going to move that last score line to 5 inches. Okay? So this is 5 inches right here. Alrighty. We're going to work on this page for a minute. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and fold along all my score lines. Okay. Make sure you get good score lines. That one's a little weak there, and you know, it's a little tricky when you're making these 1/4 inch folds, right? It can be a little tricky. Not impossible, just a little tricky. So get that to where it needs to be. Make sure we're straight here on the cover. Oh, isn't that already lovely? Yes, it is. Can you hear the congestion in my voice? Yes, you can. Okay, I'm just tightening that up a little bit, cleaning up my fold a little bit. Okay, now, see over here, we still have another fold. Go ahead and fold that inside. This is one, there's so many beautiful patterns in this collection. This for sure is one of the most beautiful ones. And I want to make sure this is even. Now, here's the thing. There's ways we could make this with chipboard. I'm not doing that today, but we could do that. It's just super, super book-like. This is more mini album-like. Make it mini May. We're making it mini. We're not spending a whole lot of time on the structure of it because there's other things we want to do. Okay, now before we move on to the next part of our project, this back part here is going to be a pocket, and we're going to go ahead and make that pocket. It's a real simple pocket. Talked about these quite often in the classroom and here on the channel. Sometimes we just want a real simple pocket, and for this one we're just adding in the adhesive at the top, at the bottom, closing it up, and we're going to have a pocket. All right, adhesive is in place. I'm just going to fold it over. And I'm trying to decide. Let's see. It's just because we can, and because, you know, this can be used for anything. I'm just going to go ahead and put take a bite out of it. I know what I'm going to put in here, but, you know, just in case we want some options. Okay, that's your main cover. All right, for the part that I'm calling the inside page, I am also grabbing a piece of 12, well, it used to be 12 by 12. I've cut from it, and that's fine because we only need the top 7 inches, right? So 7 inches because of how high we need this to be. And then we only need this to be 9 inches. Okay, so I'm cutting this at 9 inches. And save your scraps, because you just never know. You never know where you're going to need them. I mean, that one just by right there is just so pretty. You want to look at it some more? Yeah, it's really pretty. Okay, focus, Jamie, focus. Okay, and then same as we did before. So if in a way, we're opening our book like this. So this is my left side, and it also needs to have a 4-inch score. And that's all that this one needs here. Go ahead and fold that over nice and as lined up as you possibly can based upon your previous trimming skills. Because if they're anything like mine, they have a lot to be desired. Just saying. Now what is going to happen with this one is it's going to come in here on this 4-inch portion, okay? And is going to be attached. And I'm going to do it like a pocket. Doesn't have to be. I just want the option of pockets. So with that in mind, then you're going to come along here and add the 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch if you prefer, or a line of glue. I don't tend to work in glue too much, although I don't know why not. Because especially here, you know what I'm probably going to do? I think I am going to grab some glue here. And I'm just going to do a small, whoops, let's not do that. Just a small little line, and then clean up this end a little bit. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. We're just kind of winging it a little bit here, friends, because you can. Because you can. But I also want the double-sided adhesive to give it some strength and stickability. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to fold over so I just have the 4 inches from the front cover. So this is my front inside cover. This is now going to be a pocket for that front inside cover. And we're practicing the back-to-back binding. So the idea is that your fold here is just as stinking close as it can be. Okay, now what I'm going to need to do here is just trim this up just a bit. It's just come over just by virtue of how measurements and fitting paper in. This is not a terribly heavy cardstock, but it is a nice weight. I mean, it's not text weight by any means, so it's going to just take up a little bit of girth here and there. And so all you gotta do is just clean that up. I'm probably gonna end up sanding and distressing that anyhow. Okay, so let me see if this, so I still have my 1/4 inch, which is really important to me to have that. Okay, so that is now your cover and your inside page. Okay, now we have one more piece that needs to go and make another pocket situation. This piece needs to be 5 inches wide, 7 inches tall, because of how tall the book is. I'm choosing to go with this stripe because of the high contrast of the stripe, which I love so much. Now I know this particular paper is, the B-side are these cutaway pages, and they're not even going to be seen. So that was another reason why I felt like this was okay to work with. So then turn it back over. At this point, we're going to score at 2.5 inches. So that's half of this 5-inch paper. So give that a score like you really want to fold it. Be gentle. Go ahead and fold this over at this point along your score line. And I'm going to make sure I have some good folding creases here. I'm going to go ahead and sand it, and at any point we can distress and sand these edges. I'm being a little straightforward right now, getting this going. What's going to happen here is this middle page that we just attached, what I called our inside page, is going to be the holder of this pocket in such a way that when the cover is closed, that's what you see. That's why I was talking about that high contrast. Oh, makes me so excited. I think it's so beautiful. And at this point too, you may want to go ahead and decide which one's in the front. Go ahead and give it a snip. Take a bite out if you'd like at any point. I'm kind of going in the middle here. And doing the same thing in terms of adding adhesive to the bottom edge and the top edge. And at this point, I'm just adding this first page. The first page, this first side of the pocket is what I really mean to say. I'm not going to add any adhesive to the middle portion. All right, just taking off our backer paper. Okay, now the thing I want to do here, so I do want to make sure that, for me, I'm going to line it up to the very back cover paper so that you can't see any of the papers. But in this particular situation, the only thing I really want to see is the stripe. All right. Okay, so that's one pocket, and then we're going to finish it. Same thing. Add your little bite if you want. And I'm going to add in, whoops, the adhesive here. Just to the score. I can see my score line here because I moved it up just a tad. So I don't think you need to go into the score line necessarily. And this adhesive is super good for pockets, especially the quarter inch. It's just a fan favorite here. It's my favorite for working with books that I know are going to take a little bit more interactive. They're moving, things are coming in and out. So you can see here, we got a pocket. And we got it here, we got a pocket. And we got a pocket here. But we're going to do something different with this pocket, and that's part 2. All right, for part 2, we're going to make what I'm calling an inner book. For this inner book, we need to cut another piece of scrapbook paper. It's going to need to be 9.5 inches wide by 6.25 inches tall. I'm going to go ahead and cut that tall part first at 6.25. I chose this fairly open print. Thought it would make for a beautiful book cover. And then I want this to be my cover, only because that's really the only way that's going to go. And this is going to be 9.5 that I'm going to trim that other part at. And then I'm going to come in here halfway at 4 3/4. And this is going to be a very simple book cover. All right, so basically at this point, we're folding this in half. And what I have, whoops, slow down a little bit, Jam, and take your time and make it pretty. Do you ever have to talk to yourself when you're working on your projects? I have to talk to myself all the time. It's crucial, it's important. No one else gets it. And besides, I'm here in the room by myself. Anyway, what I've done is I've already cut some inner papers. The same dimensions I just cut the cover, the 9.5 by 6.25, scored at 4 3/4, and they're going to fit inside here. And this could also be additional pattern paper as well. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking here. So you could have just some regular cardstock. You could have another piece. You could make this full cardstock. You could have line paper, some kind of journaling paper. It could be mixed media paper for if you wanted to come in and just maybe make it an art journal inside of a book. That's a great idea, actually. Right, I'm going to create a cluster for, whoops, tear my book up. I'm going to create a cluster for the front of this and add some doodads on there because doodads are fun to add on a thing. I'm going to use, let me see which size. I think I want this size. I'm going to use this wavy square frame. I just think with all the straight lines, that'd be fun to have a little bit of a shape, if you will, to add to the front cover. Just creates a little bit more interest. I'm going to run this through here. Woo! And pick that up, see what we think on here. I think I like it. I think I do. And then for other clusters inside the book to build on, these squares will be great for that. And I'm sure there will be a whole lot of building that I'm going to want to do inside my book. So, you know, one of the things that takes place here is just kind of a soft build. Not quite sure everything I want on here yet. I've pulled a couple of things, but sometimes you're just not quite sure. I do think I love this piece. It's just a scrap of the PET tape. And because this square back here is fairly open, I think that's just kind of a fun thing. I could even tape it. I mean, I could attach it on there, but for right now, we're not going to do that. We're just going to let it kind of hang out for a minute. Now, I told you that this book is going to be for me. There have been a couple of photos lately of me and my kids, which is a rare moment in time, and it's going to become more rare as a couple of my kids are now moving out of state. Which, while initially, and not even just initially, still is very sad for me. I like that, but I don't think it's going to work on there. This is kind of fun too. But I think I'm going to save for something else. It's sad for me, for sure. Don't even get me wrong. Don't even get me started. Don't get me started anymore. You know, I've had some really good opportunities this year to connect with all 5 of them. And just have some sweet moments and people capturing those with the camera. Always, yeah, it's what we live for, right? This is what we live for sure. And so I'm taking this book, and it's just going to be, for sure, quite a bit of journaling about my thoughts and my feelings, and just kind of put them on the page. But then those photos, those real special photos of late, and we've got a busy year ahead of us, and lots of opportunities of importance to connect. So my perspective is I'm super looking forward to those sweet moments when we do get to connect. And I'm looking for... I haven't moved this ephemera into my ephemera catalog. I've had a lot of questions about that lately. I think I'm going to drop that link in here because that has definitely been asked about a lot. And I just feel like that just needs a little something. Okay, I am going to start building this up now. Okay, we're going to now just add these layers in. I have a couple extra things I wanted to add to this, and so we're going to walk through that as we go. This is a foam, what's it called? Like a card. It's a solid piece, and it's a great way to adhere these kind of elements that are hanging over like this. It just gave it a lot of security there. I used about the halfway mark for the top of my Wavy rectangle to be part of. Now, these dies are also part of the Wavy rectangle, and they're the ones that they make a really small frame. So I went ahead and die cut several of a green pattern of the paper with about 3 of those skinny frames. So you have to run it through there a couple times to get to your frame. And I meant to record that, and it fell off because I changed my mind several times on this until I decided on the green. I just like to have another layer, which is basically what this is. I wanted to have a little bit of depth, which is why I went ahead and layered several of them at the same time. I have some other videos that utilize some dies similar to that, and I will link that as well. Then that little piece of tape got layered down now kind of inside the frame part. Then I was deciding what was going to happen. That label never made it into the final of this, but the butterfly with the Admit 1 did. And then while that is in place, I'm going ahead and taking my foliage and floral pieces and popping them back behind and giving them some lift just by way of how I'm tucking them in there. This little together kind of gets thrown around a little bit, but we'll come back to that to be sure. This little piece here, I'm adding some foam adhesive to the back of it. I'm going to pop it up, take it all in, completely encapsulates what this album is going to be for me. I decided I like the together to be hanging down, but I broke my own rule. I have too much adhesive there and I can't tuck it underneath. So I'm just going to trim it down. I'm going to add the adhesive actually to the surface and then tuck that in exactly where I want it to be. So pretty happy how this all turned out. And then to finish, I just grabbed literally a piece of scrap paper and just created my own little V-notch kind of banner. So I appreciate you so much for taking time today to watch this video. Everything is linked down below. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Also, let me know, how would you use this type of mini album? What stories would you tell in yours? And join me next time right here as we continue to explore Arden Creative Collections.